Then, in some trending, messy celebrity nothing news, let's talk about Megan Fox watch. That's just for the old school viewers. But no, I mean, genuinely, Megan Fox was in the middle of a number of trending stories over the past 24 hours. Initially making headlines because a lot of people on social media, as well as a few select outlets going, wow, Megan Fox is still Megan Fox. Look at her at the VMAs, what a goddess, people said. But then that story also spun off another trend and conversation because a number of people, including a prominent YouTube neckbeard with, some people would say, a face even a mother couldn't love, trending because you had other people sharing his photo alongside his tweet in relation to Megan Fox, where he said, she looks like plastic and like a walking sex doll. Way too much plastic surgery. Stop with this madness. She is gross. Yes, she is the gross one in this scenario. Then, let's talk about everyone's favorite soul-draining topic, and that, of course, is COVID. I'm gonna put myself out there right now with something that people have been too afraid to say. COVID sucks, y'all. Thank you for cheering. I am brave, yes, thank you. No, but no, I imagine most of us know that COVID sucks, but some of the specific instances that make headlines, it's just like, wow, it's an amazing kind of suck. Like, we're seeing stories out there, like the family of an Alabama man who died of heart issues is now calling for people to get vaccinated because they say that he was turned away by 43 hospitals in 3 states while he was having a cardiac emergency because all their ICUs were at max capacity with COVID patients. That man, Ray DeMania, was reportedly taken to Coleman Regional Hospital in Alabama on August 23rd. And the next morning, around 12 hours after he was admitted, his daughter said that her mom got a call saying that the staff had actually tried 43 hospitals and were unable to find him a specialized cardiac ICU bed, with the man eventually transferred to a hospital in Mississippi about 200 miles away, and he died at the age of 73 on September 1st, just 3 days before his birthday. And so with all that, in his literal obituary, his family is pleading with people to get the vaccine, writing, in honor of Ray, please get vaccinated if you have not, in an effort to free up resources for non-COVID related emergencies. And adding he would not want any other family to go through what his did. And it turns out this is not a one-off situation, with a spokesperson for Coleman Regional saying that incidents like Demania's have actually been an ongoing problem reported by doctors at the hospital and others throughout the state. While the head of the Alabama Department of Public Health said on Friday that the state spike in ICU patients, many of whom are unvaccinated, has stabilized some, there are still more people who need intensive care than there are available ICU beds. And even with the spike stabilizing, Alabama has the second highest COVID hospitalizations in the U.S., according to the Washington Post tracker, which also for a number of people is not shocking considering the state has the 4th lowest vaccination rate. You know, all of that then brings us to President Biden. He, of course, last week rolled out a sweeping vaccine mandate for 100 million people, also promising to use his power to circumvent Republican leaders undermining relief efforts, to which Alabama Governor Kay Ivey actually told the president to bring it on, right? Doubling down on her refusal to mandate vaccines in her state, where people are literally being refused emergency hospital care because so many unvaccinated people are in ICU beds. And actually, regarding those mandates, I've been very interested to see, like, what are people's actual thoughts on it. There's so much noise online that I feel like it's very hard to actually discern that, and I think most people end up thinking, like, people probably think just like I do. I think that I'm a smart, rational American. Most people probably think like me. But ultimately, in a situation where you only give people 2 options, there's going to be one side that turns out, to actually be the minority. And so in the pursuit of trying to get some sort of snapshot, I found new Morning Consult political numbers that said 58% of Americans support requiring all employers with 100+ employees to mandate vaccines, with only 36% opposing, 57% supporting requiring federal workers/contractors, 36% opposing, 60% support requiring healthcare workers, while only 34% opposed. Right, so as it turns out, according to this polling, the mandates have actually been relatively popular, but also it has resulted in tons of Republican governors all over the country slamming the president's efforts to get more Americans vaccinated, some threatening legal action, while others have made the whole thing very dramatic, like South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster saying that he would fight Biden and the Democrats to the gates of hell. But also with this, we're seeing many people saying that their arguments against vaccine mandates don't really hold up, with many pointing to this interview from Chris Wallace and Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts.
But it should be a personal health care choice. This is not something that the government should mandate, and somebody shouldn't have to make the choice between keeping their job and getting a jab in the arm. I mean, it's just wrong. I've talked to people, a number of people who have told me, if they make me take the vaccine, I'm just going to be fired. I'm not going to do it.
But you say it's a personal choice. In fact, to attend school in your state of Nebraska, children must be vaccinated against a number of diseases. Let me put them up on the screen. They must be vaccinated against diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis, polio, measles, mumps and rubella, hepatitis B, and chickenpox. Why are those mandates that parents in your state must comply with and do comply with routinely, why is it that they're not so objectionable and such a violation of personal freedom, but Biden's vaccine mandates are.
Right, and after Ricketts claiming that those shots have a long history of use and that people, quote, don't know what to trust with COVID-19 vaccines, Wallace, of course, pointed out that the Pfizer shot has full FDA approval now, to which the governor responded.
Really, children are no more at risk for the coronavirus than they are for the ordinary flu. And so it's all about balancing off these risks. And the risk for this is just such where this is something that we shouldn't be mandating it.
But also, we've seen experts saying that there are a few things wrong with that. Right, some pointing to over 250,000 child COVID cases being reported in the week ending September 2nd alone, marking the largest number of new infections among kids in a single week, and meaning that children accounted for over 1 out of every 4 new cases. And secondly, yet a number pointing out that while Ricketts used misinformation to argue the risks of COVID-19 don't necessitate a mandate, the chickenpox vaccine is required for children in Nebraska schools, even though the infection has a much lower risk of death and hospitalization. Right, according to the CDC, just 10,500 Americans are hospitalized due to chickenpox on average each year, and only 100 to 150 people die. By contrast, every single day for the last 2 weeks, an average of over 100,000 people get hospitalized with COVID, and more than 1,600 people die per day, which, once again, may also explain why the polling seems to be what it is right now.